All right, everyone, roll for initiative.
That's a solid 18 for me.
7, not ideal, but let's see how it plays out.
A bloody 5. You've got to be joking.
4. Fantastic.
20 for me.
23, baby. Blink and you'll miss me.
That's not how initiative works.
Hush, Saxy.
No, you don't get to say that.
All right, so Craggus got a 20, Morgan, 18. The rebels are somewhere between 4 and 16, and the guards hold damn range. Not reading them all. Right, let's get to it. Kobe, you're up first. What's the plan?
Oh, damn. Okay, I squeeze forward and have a peek at what I'm working with.
You step up, blocking the entrance entirely as you lean out to get a view.
Move, Kobe. It's a fucking choke point.
All right. I dash and peek my head out of the fog.
As soon as you do, 5 guards stationed along the corridor immediately let their held actions fly. Crossbows snap up, strings whip forward, and bolts streak toward you.
Wait, can I wild shape before they fire?
Roll for it, dexterity check, need a 15 or higher.
17!
Nice, you shift just in time.
I turn into a brown bear.
As your body contorts and expands, fur erupts across your skin, muscles surge, and your snout elongates with a deep rumbling growl.
Are you serious? That's what we're working with? Got nothing better than a damn bear?
Dude, I'm level 5. What do you want from me?
Oh my god, why have you come, man?
So, that's a 17, 18, 22, and 21. One of them jams his weapon with a natural one.
Ha, sucker!
Yeah, laugh it up. The rest still skewer you for 47 piercing damage.
Oh, hell no.
You barely have time to react before the bolts slam into your now massive form. Pain lances through your thick hide, but there's something else. Yeah, you feel the bite of steel, but the tips of these bolts are glowing green. Something's up.
I dip back into the fog cloud and holler, magic bolts. They got goddamn magic bolts.
Oh, sweet.
And that's my turn, Joe.
All right, Alden, you're up.
I move over here and activate Blade Song, making my AC 23. Then I cast Haste on myself, pushing it up to 25.
All right, you're a ghost on ice. That's your turn?
Yep, that's my turn.
All right, Cragus's turn. He moves his full movement here, pauses for a second like he's considering pushing through, but decides against clogging the choke point. He holds position. That's his turn. Icehold Guard 4 is staying exactly where he is. Morgan's turn. He shifts over here, right behind you, Saxy. Smart move using you for cover.
Right, because he needs cover.
All right, Tronald, you're up.
I action dash over here, Joe, straight into the fog cloud, keeping low and quick. No need to be a glowing target for those magic bolts. I stop about 10 feet from Kobe, keeping my eyes peeled for anything nasty in the mist.
As you sprint forward, your boots skid slightly on the icy stone, but you keep your balance weaving through the thick fog.
That's my turn.
Guard 1 and 7 are going to stay put. Not like you can see them anyway with the fog in the way. Rebel 4 moves up, slipping through the icy terrain and settling in next to Morgan, keeping close. All right, Mite, you're up.
I let the symbiote take the wheel, partially at least, and climb up the walls real smooth right over the guys.
As you relinquish control, tendrils of inky black mass pulse along your limbs, gripping the jagged rock. Your hands and feet find unnatural purchase, letting you scale the icy walls easily whilst the mist coils around you, masking your movement.
Then I pull out my Cartomancer card, feels real nice in my hand, and cast Shadow of Moil on myself.
A shroud of shifting darkness erupts around you, swallowing your form in flickering black flames. So, with Shadow of Moil active, your whole body is wreathed in deep shifting shadows, making you heavily obscured and fueling your strikes with darkness. Anyone who lands a hit on you takes 2d8 necrotic recoil damage. Guards 10, 8, 5, 6, and 2 stay put, holding their positions in the cave. No movement from them. Rebel 2 and Rebel 5 shift forward, navigating the icy ground as they reposition. Saxy, your turn.
It's showtime. I step through the fog, moving toward the wall near Tronald. I activate my armor. Gears whir, arcane lines flare to life, and the plates shift into place. Then I start charging my arcane cannon. I'll drop the fog at the start of my next turn, guys.
As you brace against the icy rock, the armor along your back whirs, pistons shifting as mechanical limbs unfold with precise, deliberate clicks. A heavy core unit rises from its housing, vents releasing a faint hiss of steam as it locks into position behind your shoulder. Arcane coils hum to life, pulsing with raw energy as the cannon begins to charge, the glow barely visible through the thick fog.
That's me done, Joe.
Rebel 1 moves down here near number 4. All right, it's your turn, Raarh.
No point raging yet. I move over here, Joe, and activate my Sword of Nepthet Ka, channeling Holy Weapon through it. Then that's my turn.
Raarh, you run forward, gripping the hilt of your blade. And the moment you call upon its power, the sword responds. Your blade surges with divine power, light spilling over the rocky ground, casting long, jagged shadows through the mist. Rebel 3 moves up, slipping into position behind Rebel 4, whilst Guard 3 and Guard 9 hold their ground, unmoving. All right, Celestia, you're up.
I run beside Raarh and cast Blink on myself.
As you move through the fog, the divine energy in your hands crackles and fades, replaced by the shifting pull of the ethereal.
What about a healing word, Celestia, old pal?
I'm being conservative, so sorry, but no.
Oh, shucks.
That's a 15 to blink out, Joe.
The magic surges, and in an instant, pop, you vanish from the material plane, leaving nothing but the fading echo of your movement behind. All right, back to the top. Kobe, you're up.
Well, I daren't fucking move because I'm just gonna die if I do. So, I'm gonna transform into a bear and run out hollering at number 10.
Your form shifts again, bones snapping and muscles bulging as thick fur erupts over your skin. With a deep, guttural roar, you charge through the fog, barreling straight at guard 10. But once again, as soon as you emerge, you get attacked 5 times. So lucky. I rolled a 6, a 4, and a 2. The other 2 actually find their mark. That's 17 points of damage.
Nice. Then I make 2 attacks towards this boy, guard 10. Neat. Nat 2 and a 21.
21 hits.
That's 11 points of damage.
Your claws tear into the guard, raking across his armor and biting into flesh. Guard 10 staggers back, the force of your blow making him struggle to keep footing.
That's my turn.
So, before I make my move, I just want some clarity on how you run hasted action, Joe.
Right, I already know what you're going to ask. Yes, you can use your hasted action to cast a spell, but only if your standard attack is a cantrip or first level, same as the bonus action deal. So you couldn't cast 2 fireballs, but you could do a firebolt and a fireball. Make sense?
Perfect. So with my 80 feet of movement, I run out and take a booming blade slice at number 9.
You blur across the battlefield, your magically enhanced speed kicking up wisps of frost as you close the gap. Your blade hums with unstable arcane force as you swing.
Natural 19. That's 15 damage, plus another 11 if he moves.
Your blade slices deep, and the lingering energy of booming blade coils around the wound, vibrating with the promise of explosive force should he make the mistake of stepping away.
Second attack, tainted 20. Just to double check, Joe, I can use booming blade twice, right?
Yeah, that's one of your buffs.
Sweet. So that's 13 damage with another 11 if he moves. Then I cast Fireball over here at 6, 7, and 8 using my hasted action. That's 33 damage.
All 3 fail their dex saves. A surge of heat builds in your palm, flames licking hungrily at the air before you launch the fireball forward. It streaks through the cavern, a swirling mass of destruction that erupts into a violent inferno upon impact.
Then I use Phantom Strike to teleport 10 feet over here next to this crate and use the rest of my 40 feet of movement to run up into number 6's face.
Your form blurs again as you vanish in a whisper of arcane displacement, reappearing by the crate for barely a heartbeat before launching into another full-speed sprint, coming to a halt inches from guard 6. But as you do all that, Rebel 4, 5, 2, and 3, who all see you, release bolts your way. Highest roll is a 22, so they all miss.
Good.
Kragus moves up, stepping just in front of you, Saxy. He pulls out a longbow, knocks an arrow, and holds his action, eyes scanning the battlefield for an opening. Guard 4 breaks into a sprint before skidding to a stop. He raises his crossbow, takes aim at Kobe, and fires. 22 to hit. And 14 damage.
The bear's still up, boys.
Oh, great, we're saved.
Morgan moves up, settling into position. He pulls out his bow, knocks an arrow, and holds his action, eyes locked on the shifting fog, waiting for the moment it clears. All right, Tronald, you're up.
I'm going to hold a fireball for my action, Joe.
You raise your hand, arcane energy coiling at your fingertips, ready to unleash devastation the moment you get a clear shot.
That's my turn.
So, with the fireball primed and ready, Guard 1 and 7 are up. Guard 1 shifts position, raising his crossbow and snapping off a shot at the only target in sight, Alden. The bolt sails wide with a 12, clattering uselessly against the icy rock. Guard 7 moves into position, crossbow already up. He fires. 11 to hit. Another miss. Another wasted shot as Alden practically dances between the bolts, untouchable. Rebel 4 moves swiftly, stepping behind where Celestia was before she blinked out of existence. He raises his bow, knocking an arrow, and holds his action. All right, Mite, you're up.
I run here, not casting Hex since my shadow spell's already up. So I'll just make a booming blade attack on number 10. 20 to hit. And 17 damage alongside another 9 if he moves.
Your blade carves through armor, the impact sending a concussive pulse into his body, locking the magic in place like an unseen landmine.
Bonus action, I bite him. 19 to hit. That's 6 piercing damage.
Blood sprays as your teeth rip into him, the wound raw and vicious. The guard recoils, instinctively trying to pull away, though every movement threatens to trigger the crackling, booming blade lingering around him. Guard 10 grits his teeth, blood running down his arm as he pulls out his sword and swings at you, Mite. With a 14, that misses, unfortunately.
Don't say unfortunately, it's not nice.
I'm not planning to be nice for this encounter, buddy.
Fantastic. That's exactly what I wanted to hear.
Rebel 2 moves behind Rebel 4, keeping close and holding his action. Guard 8 moves up next to you, Alden, sword flashing as he takes a swing, advantage on the attack. He rolled a nat 1 and a tainted 20, which still misses. Guard 5 moves into position, crossbow raised, and fires at Kobe. The bolt streaks through the fog and hits with a 16. And for 13 damage.
Fuck, I'm back in Kobe form.
Your bear form shudders and collapses, the magic dissipating as you drop back to your normal self. Guard 6 takes a swing at you, Alden. That's a natural 20.
Wow, nice.
Come on, I rolled a 4. That's only 11 points of damage. Give me a concentration save for haste.
16. I'm fine.
Rebel 5 moves behind Rebel 2, keeping close and holding his action. Guard 2 shifts position, crossbow already raised, scanning for a target. No clear shot on Kobe, so he takes aim at you, Mite.
Why would I be the default go-to?
Maybe they're afraid of bears. Anyway, 18 to hit, Mite.
Gets me.
A bolt rips through the air, slamming into you with a sharp sting. That's 14 damage. Give me a concentration check.
11. Just passed.
Mite, you steady yourself, shadows writhing around you as you fight to maintain control of the spell. Saxy, you're up.
Wait, did you roll with disadvantage because of my shadows?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, just checking.
All right, enough hiding. I drop the fog cloud and fire my arcane cannon, lightning shot, dead center in the middle of these fuckers. Should hit all of them.
The fog dissipates in an instant, revealing the battlefield in stark clarity. Then with a deafening crack, your arcane cannon unleashes a torrent of searing lightning. A blinding white-blue surge rips through the cavern, illuminating jagged ice and rock as the charge explodes outward in all directions. So with their dex saves, only Guard 7 manages to dodge in time.
Okay, that's 26 damage to everyone else and 13 to Guard 7.
The cannon's detonation sends a violent shockwave through the cavern, the force rippling across the already fragile floor. Cracks splinter outward in a spiderweb of destruction before the rock beneath Guard 5 gives way entirely. For half a second, he hangs there, arms flailing, then the ground collapses, jagged shards of stone shearing apart beneath his boots. His scream is ripped from his throat as he plummets, body bouncing violently against the cragged walls of the pit, bone and steel alike snapping with sickening finality before he vanishes into the darkness below.
Then I move here, steady my arm, and take an energy shot at number 3. 17 to hit. That's 10 damage.
A high-pitched whine builds in your gauntlet as energy coils along the seams, condensing into a single focused charge. With a flick of your wrist, a pulse of raw arcane force erupts from your forearm. The blast slams into Guard 3's chest with a sharp, crackling impact, the force denting his armor and sending him stumbling back, boots skidding over the icy rock. He barely manages to keep his footing, a fresh scorch mark seared across his torso. All right, time for the held actions. Kragus exhales slow and steady, drawing back his longbow and loosing a shot at Guard 3. That's a 22 to hit. He lets out a grunt of pain, staggering under the impact, but still standing. That's 14 damage. Morgan follows up, drawing back his bow and firing at Guard 3. 13 to hit misses. The arrow cuts through the air, but Guard 3 shifts just in time, the shaft clattering uselessly against the rock behind him. He rolled super low there.
All right, enough waiting. I release my fireball, catching guards 1, 2, 4, and 7. That's 31 damage.
Highest save was a 14. Does he pass?
They all fail.
Nice. You obliterate all 4 of them, Tronald, their bodies consumed in the firestorm, armor and flesh alike reduced to charred ruin. The force of the blast doesn't just scorch, it shatters, sending flaming debris in every direction. The already unstable ground beneath Guard 9 finally gives way completely. For a moment, he tries to scramble back, hands reaching for something, anything to hold on to. But the rock beneath him crumbles like brittle parchment, and he plummets, arms flailing. His scream barely lasts a second before his body slams against jagged rock on the way down, bouncing violently before vanishing into the abyss, leaving nothing but the echo of splintering bones.
Ha! Nice! Now that's a fucking fireball!
Careful. You're messing up the whole damn floor.
Hey, you started it.
Doesn't matter, just don't finish it.
Rebels 4, 2, and 5 fire their bows at Guard 3. 2 and 5 have disadvantage due to positioning. Arrows whistle through the air. 2 shots go wide, clattering against the cavern walls, but 1 finds its mark. Rebel 4 hits with 7 damage. The arrow sinks into Guard 3's side, adding to the growing number of wounds. Right, that's the end of the held actions. Rebel 1 is completely choked in this funnel, no real room to maneuver. He pulls back his bow, aiming at Guard 6, disadvantage on the shot. The arrow streaks through the icy air but veers wide, clattering harmlessly against the cavern wall. All right, Raarh, you're up.
Fuck these weaklings. I'm charging forward, Joe, and I throw my greatsword at number 3 as I run. 24 to hit. 16 base damage plus 10 holy weapon for 26 total.
You tear across the fractured stone, and with a mighty heave, you hurl your great sword mid-stride, the massive blade spinning through the air like a whirling guillotine. It slams into Guard 3 with bone-crunching force. The impact is instantaneous. The great sword buries itself in his chest, the sheer force lifting him off his feet before slamming him into the cavern wall with a sickening crack. Ribs shatter, armor buckles, and the holy energy coursing through the blade erupts from the wound like a divine detonation. His body doesn't just hit the ground, it collapses, limbs twisting unnaturally, lifeless before he even has a chance to scream. The sword doesn't stay buried long. Its enchanted steel shimmers as it wrenches itself free, spinning back through the air and into your waiting grip, just as Saxi's enchantment intended.
This whole returning thing is pretty neat. Never thought I'd be used this way.
I'm off to find my dad, you lot.
Don't run off, man. Stay together.
They're weak as piss. I ain't wasting time.
For God's sake.
Just keep up with him, guys.
Rebel 3's turn. He's far too blocked to even consider firing. He does nothing, stuck in the bottleneck.
I blink back in, 10 feet over here. Then, I cast Firebolt at number 10. That's 26 to hit, and 14 damage.
A streak of molten flame erupts from your palm, twisting through the air before slamming into Guard 10's chest. He barely has time to register the pain before it overwhelms him. His body convulses as the fire spreads, consuming him from the inside out. His last choked breath is swallowed before his blackened corpse crumples to the stone.
And then I blink back out with a 14.
Nice. All right, back to the top. A sudden, ear-splitting crack erupts through the cavern, a sound unlike anything you've heard so far, sharp, unnatural. Before anyone can react, a streak of green energy tears through the air, ripping into Rebel 4's side with a wet, concussive impact. The force folds him sideways, his body twisting as if struck by an invisible hammer. But it doesn't stop there. The projectile punches straight through, shredding its way into Rebel 2 and 5 behind him, the impact sending them staggering, fresh wounds gushing from unseen entry points. Blood splatters the ground, but there's no sign of where the shot came from. Another loud crack, this one even sharper, as if the cavern itself is reacting to the sound. A second green-streaked bullet slams into Rebel 4's skull. His head snaps back violently, the projectile ripping through and detonating out the other side in a fine mist of red. His body crumples immediately, collapsing into a heap before his nerves even catch up to what's happened. The shot doesn't stop. It slices past, catching Rebels 2 and 5 again, their already bleeding bodies taking another brutal hit. Their groans of pain echo through the cavern, but the source remains invisible, high above, somewhere in the unseen darkness. So that's 50 damage to Rebel 4, and 24 damage to the other two.
Where the hell did that come from?
That wasn't magic. Those were shots. Real precise, too.
Did anyone see anyone at all?
No, and that's the problem.
A heavy silence grips the battlefield for a moment, the usual chaos drowned out by the sheer finality of those two shots. Kragus's head snaps toward the fallen rebel, eyes narrowing in horror before he bellows out,
Taran!
His grip on his bow tightens until his knuckles go white, but there's no time to process it. His instincts take over.
All of you, get out of line of sight of that passageway, now!
All right, Kobe, you're up.
Joe, I run over here and take a look ahead, trying to see where the hell those shots came from.
All right, give me a perception check.
That's a 19 total, Joe.
You sprint forward, boots skidding slightly on stone, and look through the passageway. The cavern stretches into another hallway-like chamber, rough and uneven, with jagged ice clinging to the walls. A worn stone staircase descends further into the unknown. At the far end, you catch sight of a narrow opening, but no movement, no sign of the attacker.
All right, I'm going to cast Cure Wounds on myself. That's 9 health points healed, and that's my turn.
All right, Alden, you're up.
Booming Blade on number 6. 28 to hit from a natural 19, that's 17 damage, plus 15 if he moves.
Oh, he isn't moving. Your sword carves through him, the arcane energy lashing outward as his body jerks unnaturally, the force detonating inside him. His ribs snap, his chest collapsing inward before he even has time to register what's happened. He drops like a sack of shattered bones.
Neat. Then booming blade on number 8 with my second attack. 18 to hit. Only 9 damage, plus 7 if he moves.
Your strike cuts deep, but this one clings to life.
Alrighty then. Hasted attack, booming blade on 8 again. 25 to hit. And 18 damage.
The energy around your blade detonates on impact. His body convulses as the arcane force bursts through his ribcage, sending a ripple of shattered flesh and bone outward in a violent shockwave. He's dead.
I use my movement to move 80 feet through the doorway.
You blur forward, darting past the bodies and deeper into the cavern. As you slip through the tight corridor, your eyes catch the faint glow beyond. You emerge into a narrow chamber. A second exit lies ahead, but it's quickly cut off by a solid wall of stone and ice. It feels strange here, as if something waits just beyond.
Okay, well that's my turn.
Kragus dashes 60 feet forward, moving quickly and staying low, all whilst keeping his bow ready. Morgan moves to the edge of the crevice, peering into the abyss below and then scanning ahead. His eyes narrow, adjusting to the dim light. Then he sees it. A faint glimmer, barely more than a pinprick against the darkness, nearly 200 feet away. It's subtle, a reflection of something metallic, shifting ever so slightly. It could be a weapon, a scope, a helmet. But it's there.
I see him!
Without hesitation, he nocks an arrow, adjusting for the extreme range. He draws back, loosing the first shot with disadvantage. 19 to hit. The arrow soars through the cavern, cutting the air in a perfect line, but at this distance, even perfection falls short. The shot goes wide, striking rock just shy of the target. Teeth clenched, he pulls another, looses it. 19 again. Exact same roll twice, a 13 and a 12. Crazy. So that's another near miss. The faint glimmer remains, unshaken, as if whoever or whatever is watching them isn't the least bit concerned. All right, Tronald, you're up.
I'm going to move over here and send a fireball through the small hole to try and get the 2 I see.
Just to let you know, Tronald, with its 150-foot range, you'd only clip one of them.
Well, I should probably get out of their line of sight anyway. I'll dash another 30 feet, then cast Expeditious Retreat on myself to move another 30.
You surge forward, the spell wrapping around your limbs like coiled energy, making your movement impossibly fast. But just as you reach your new position, you hear a voice. 2 of them are there. A response follows, calm, assured, right. Before you can process it, something metallic hurtles through the air. A small, dull sphere bounces off the wall 25 feet above you, ricocheting down. Then it lands, right on the stairs. Then, boom! The explosion tears through the chamber, a wave of heat and force erupting outward, shrapnel embedding into stone and flesh. I need a dex saving throw from you and Alden.
9, but I'm going to use lucky. Better, that's an 18.
26 for me.
I'm going to need concentration checks from both of you.
That's an 18 for my con save.
And a 15 for mine. Anyway, Joe, what damage type is this, Joe?
Fire.
I'm going to absorb elements then.
Same.
Both of you brace, channeling the magic to buffer the worst of the impact, absorbing the fire's energy into your own arcane reserves. So that's 10 damage to each of you. All right, Mite, you're up.
I'm going to use my feline agility to move over here next to Raarh. You ready to go, big boy?
I don't know, am I? Because the way you're saying it sounded awfully sexual.
Then I slap his big old butt cheeks and cast Dimension Door on both of us. Let's do 200 feet straight forward.
As you cast the spell, the air around you warps and folds, dragging both of you through a moment of sheer nothingness before reality snaps back into place. You land in a glacial area, the stone giving way to solid ice, and the air is noticeably colder. 2 guards are almost right next to you, both wielding what look like sniper weapons. From the direction you just came from, you spot 2 more guards hiding behind the entrance, and 1 additional figure, a bulkier soldier, clad in heavily reinforced armor, with several alchemical grenades strapped to his waist.
Oh, nice. I move 5 feet to my right and take a bite out of this guy. That's a 21 to hit.
Just hits.
Just hits? Interesting. Anyway, so that's 13 damage to number 15 then.
Your fangs sink into his shoulder, drawing blood as he jerks back, barely keeping his footing. His breath comes out sharp, and you see his grip tighten on his weapon. Rebel 2 dashes 60 feet forward, pushing to close the distance. Guard 11 raises his weapon, lining up a shot on you, Raarh. The gun kicks, sending a bullet ripping through the air. 20 to hit. The round slams into you, burning hot where it pierces flesh, the searing heat spreading from the impact point. That's 10 piercing, 4 fire, 14 total. Guard 12 follows up, sighting you in. Boom! Another shot fired. That's 16 to hit. So that's 11 piercing, 3 fire, 14 total. Neither of them are halved because you're not raging. Finally, Rebel 5 dashes 60 feet over here, repositioning himself. All right, Saxy, you're up.
I'm going to use my action to overload my thrusters and try to fly 160 feet. Using my action to dash.
All right, give me an intelligence check to see if you can handle the output.
16.
Yeah, so you manage. A high-pitched whine builds in your boots as arcane energy flares violently within the propulsion system. The stabilizers struggle for half a second before, boom, they overload, sending you rocketing forward like a missile. The cavern blurs around you, the icy walls streaking past as a concussive gust kicks up frost and loose debris in your wake. You barely have time to adjust as you barrel through the hallway, the glow of your thrusters searing against the frozen walls, leaving behind a trail of shimmering heat distortions.
Then I use my wrist cannon to deliver a pulse of energy from my hand at guard 11. 20 to hit.
Hits.
So that's 9 damage.
The blast slams into guard 11's side, knocking him a half step back. His armor scorches from the impact, sparks flickering off the plating as he grits his teeth. Rebel 1 moves 30 feet forward, raising his longbow and trying to arc a shot over 200 feet. Disadvantage on the roll. But with an 18, the arrow soars, cutting through the icy air. But the distance is just too much.
You could say it was a long shot.
All right, your turn, Raarh.
Joe, I fucking rage! Then, I charge towards the bombing bastard and make 2 reckless great weapon master attacks on his ass. 22 to hit and 19 to hit. First hit, 6 plus 3 for my rage, plus 4 plus 10 plus another 10 for holy weapon. That equals 33. Second hit, 11 plus 3 plus 4 plus 10 plus 12 equals 40. That's 73 total.
Damn. Brother's out here like some kind of barbarian mathemagician. Just took a man's entire lifespan, divided it by 2, and carried the one straight to the afterlife.
Your greatsword sings through the air, the radiant glow of Nepthet Ka pulsing as you bring it down in a vicious, earth-shaking arc. The first strike tears through his armor, cutting deep into the steel plating like it's nothing more than parchment. The metal buckles, his shoulder nearly caving in as the force of the impact sends him reeling. Before he even registers the pain, you bring the sword back around, this time a horizontal, savage sweep. The blade cleaves through his side, splitting through the reinforced plating with a brutal, wet crunch. The alchemical grenades on his belt rattle as his blood splashes against the ice, painting the glacial floor deep crimson. He staggers, barely keeping his footing, one knee buckling from the sheer trauma to his body. He's still standing, but you well and truly fucked him up.
Take that! I am the Bear Elk Green God Batman Math Magician.
Rebel 3's turn. He dashes 60 feet over here. Celestia, you're up.
I blink back in 10 feet forward. Then I cast polymorph and shift into a bone devil.
I'm sorry, you shift into a what?
Just a reminder, your Hell Touch domain allows you to transform into both devils and beasts with polymorph. You gain their stats and attacks, but you don't inherit their resistances or immunities.
Right, just the raw power, none of the perks. Then I fly 40 feet forward.
Your form shudders as unholy magic surges through you, flesh twisting into something unnatural. Bone plates snap outward, elongating into a hulking skeletal frame. A segmented tail lashes behind you, hooked and dripping with venom. Your wings, black, torn and malformed with infernal corruption, spread wide, and with a single powerful beat you launch forward, the air beneath you rippling with heat.
Now, see, I think you were robbed of a much closer fight in our duel, Celestia, given that you can polymorph into that.
True, but we both know I was robbed by my own mercy. Now let's see if I can blink back out. That's an 18, so I'm gone.
Without hesitation, your hellish form vanishes, fading from reality in an instant, leaving nothing behind but the lingering stench of sulfur.
All right, I'm gonna...
Not yet, Kobe. For a new figure enters the fray, up top. From the higher vantage point, a shadow shifts, stepping forward into the dim light. The figure is bigger, bulkier than the others, their stance planted firm, like they're preparing for something devastating. But what draws your eye, what sends an immediate gut-churning tension through the battlefield, is the weapon in their hands. A gun, but not like the others. It's rotating. A low, grinding whir begins to build from its barrels, slow at first, but unmistakable. The spin quickens, gears clicking, the metal components locking into a rhythmic, almost mechanical roar. The whir turns into a shriek, the sheer kinetic force vibrating against the air. This isn't a gun, it's a war engine. It begins rotating faster and faster and faster. He moves 15 feet down, the green glow from its ammunition spilling across the cavern wall like ghost light. Then, it opens fire. A storm of rounds rips through the air. The bullets shred the ice, ricochet off stone. Each impact a thunderous crack that drowns out everything else. So only 3 hit. The first shot slams into your shoulder, the second rakes across your ribs, and the third punches deep into your side, lodging itself between bone. Even through the haze of rage, the pain is real, a white-hot burst that sets your nerves on fire. That's 26 points reduced to 13 because of your rage. The barrels slow, smoke rising from the overheated metal as the figure moves back, disappearing behind cover, but the ringing in your ears remains. That was just a preview.
I'm sorry, a preview of what?
Yeah, guys, this is just getting worse the further we go. Maybe we should slow down a bit, move as a unit before we all get shredded.
Kind of hard to move as a unit when half of you keep teleporting into hellholes or sprinting off like lunatics.
Kobe has a really serious point. We're walking into a fortress, not some random bandit camp. They have snipers, explosives, now a goddamn rotary cannon. Maybe, just maybe, it's time to start playing smarter.
They know we're here. There's not a moment to waste. My dad doesn't have time.
And you don't have a plan.
I do have a plan. I go through them, and I cut them
I
down.
like that plan.
Of course you do.
Great, we'll write that one down in the tactical genius section. Run forward and get shot. Right next to don't get blown up and hope for the best.
You think I care? I'm not leaving him to rot in some frozen hole. If you're too scared to move forward, then stay behind.
No one's saying leave him, Raarh. We're saying don't get yourself killed before we even find him.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to take a moment to talk about something important. As you guys know, growing this series has been challenging at times, but one thing that did work was the seasons format, compiling multiple episodes into one long release. So I'm going to apply that same approach to the B team. This means that for now, the B team will be exclusively available to patrons and YouTube members. Once I have enough episodes ready, I'll release them all as a full season for everyone. If you'd like to support the channel and get early access to these episodes, joining Patreon or becoming a YouTube member would mean the world to me. But if you'd rather wait for the full release, that's totally fine too. I have some serious plans to take things to the next level. Longer episodes, an hour or more frequent B-team content, and additional one-shots. But to be completely transparent, my workload is at its absolute limit. The only way I can make this happen is by either gaining new traction or getting direct support from you guys. Supporting the channel will help me offload some of the editing and production work, letting me focus entirely on crafting the best narratives possible. So if you want to be part of making that happen, Patreon and YouTube memberships are the best way to do it. But no matter what, I appreciate every single one of you watching, commenting, and supporting every week you tune in. Thanks, guys. Now let's get back to the action. Now it's Guard 13's turn. He winds up and hurls another bomb through the gap, aiming for all 3 of you, Tronald, Alden, and Saxy.
Can I use a reaction to try and catch it, Joe?
You want to catch it?
Yeah, or at least block it with my body so it can't bounce to the rest of the guys.
Bit unconventional, but sure, I like it. Give me a dex check.
18 total, but I'm adding Flash of Genius for a 23.
Well, I was looking for a 20 or above, so nice. Saxy, the instant the canister clears the gap, instinct takes over. There's no time to think, only a split-second decision between survival and self-sacrifice. The metal cylinder spins mid-air, its alchemical core glowing a menacing green, the faintest hiss of pressure escaping as it arms itself. Saxy, you lunge forward, boots slamming against the ice as you intercept the bomb mid-flight. Your gauntlet clamps around it, the casing searing hot against the metal on your fingers. There's no chance to throw it back, no chance to mitigate the explosion. The best you can do, the only thing you can do, is absorb it. The bomb detonates right in your grasp. Searing heat erupts, a shockwave blasting into your armor as molten fire engulfs you. The sheer force slams into your chest, driving you back a step as your thrusters flare wildly, struggling to compensate for the impact. Sparks explode from your gear, your visor flashing with damage alerts, but the fire never spreads beyond you. Give me a dex saving throw. Seems pretty irrelevant given the circumstances, but I'll gift it you for thinking outside the box.
That's a 22.
Nice. So you pass. You, and you alone, Saxy, take 25 points of fire damage.
You goddamn hero.
For real, man, that would not have been pleasant.
Meh, no problem. I protect my friends.
Guard 14, the sniper, moves 30 feet right and takes a shot at you, Mite. 5 plus 8 for 13 total. Misses. A sharp crack rings out, but the shot goes wide, ricocheting off the cavern wall. Guard 15, also a sniper, moves 30 feet over here. Mite, Give me an attack of opportunity.
Oh, you shouldn't have done that. Nat 20.
Jesus. All right, roll damage.
No Jesus here, Joe. Just me. That's 14. Plus my symbiotic bonus plus dex. That's 20 total.
As the sniper tries to reposition, you lash out, your symbiote writhing as your claws sink deep into his side. The impact twists his body mid-step, forcing him to stumble forward, his breath coming out sharply as fresh blood splashes across the ice. He steadies himself, still moving, and takes a shot at you, Mite. Natural 19.
Wait, was that with disadvantage because of my shadows?
No, it wasn't. You're right. Let me roll again. That's an 18 total. Still hits.
Damn, Joey's trying to well and truly fuck me up here, guys.
It's your responsibility to remember your shit. If you forget, don't expect me to remember, but feel free to call me out on something if I do forget.
Well said.
That's 17 points of damage to you. Kobe, your turn.
I'm going to run over to Rebel 4 and stabilize him. I'm useless in this fight, guys. I'll just hang around at the back and play recovery.
How do you plan on stabilizing him? He got shot in the head with a sniper.
Listen, Joe, I don't know what kind of life you've lived, but back where I'm from, a mummy's kiss could fix a damn compound fracture. I'll resort to that if I have to. Got a seal in the life force, you know?
All right, give me a medicine check for mummy kisses then.
That's a 21.
So, somehow despite all logical medical reasoning, you feel a pulse. Rebel 4 isn't quite dead. He's clinging to life by a damn thread. Maybe it's the sheer will to survive, maybe it's some freak miracle, or maybe, just maybe, it was the mummy kisses.
I told you. Those bad boys never let a fella down.
So it would seem.
That's my turn, Joe.
All right, Alden, you're up.
I move 55 feet here, then Booming Blade Bomber Boy 13. And that's 26 to hit. And 16 damage.
Alden, you weave through the battlefield and drive your short sword straight into his chest. The moment the steel pierces, the stored arcane force detonates, sending a shockwave through his entire body. His form locks up, limbs seizing as the energy rips through him like an internal explosion. His grenades rattle, one even slipping loose from his belt before rolling harmlessly away as he collapses to the ground, utterly lifeless.
I really need to pick myself up a rapier for the potential extra 2 damage. Anyway, second attack, another Booming Blade on number 11. 17 to hit. So that's for 17 damage, plus 8 if he moves. For my hasted action, I'll cast Fireball between 14 and 15. That's 33 damage.
Guard 15 succeeds, guard 14 fails. Alden, the fireball erupts, a blazing sphere of destruction expanding violently. Guard 14 is engulfed immediately, his form consumed in the flames. Guard 15 tries to dive for cover, but the flames still lash out, clinging to his armor, licking at exposed flesh. He slams against the ice, teeth gritted, barely clinging to life. The moment the fire clears, he staggers, one hand pressed against a blackened wound that nearly ended him. But somehow, he's still standing, if only barely. All right, Kragas's turn. He dashes 60 feet over here, pushing forward. Morgan is going to try and jump over this pit. That's a 19! Morgan sprints forward, and with a powerful leap, he clears the pit with ease, boots slamming down on the other side, barely breaking stride. All right, Tronald, you're up.
I use my expeditious retreat movement 45 feet in front of Saxy so I can get line of sight on Raarh through the hole. Then I'll cast haste on him, dropping expeditious retreat.
Raarh. You feel a sudden familiar surge of energy flood your body. Your movements feel sharper, faster, like your muscles are working in overdrive. The battle around you seems to slow as your reflexes sharpen, your body primed to wreak absolute devastation.
Then I move left, pressing against the wall for cover.
Nice. Okay, Mite, you're up.
I run up to 14 and make an attack on his ass. Booming Blade. 21 to hit. And 15 damage, plus 11 if he moves.
Still up.
Then I bite him. Rolled a tainted 20 to hit.
20 just hits.
Awesome. That's 13 damage.
Before he can react, your symbiote lashes forward, your teeth elongating into razor-sharp fangs as you latch onto his throat. There's a guttural wet rip, his muffled scream choking out as your jaw clamps shut. Then you tear back. You bite his head clean off, dead. His body slumps, lifeless, as his severed head bounces once on the icy ground before rolling to a stop in a growing pool of blood. Rebel 2 dashes over here. Guard 11 lunges forward, swinging his sword at you, Alden. That's 24 to hit.
Misses.
Guard 12 rushes in, following up with another sword attack. Wow, another 24 to hit. Again, the strike connects, or at least it should, but the enhanced speed, the unnatural grace flowing through you, makes it seem like the world itself is moving slower around you. You twist effortlessly, the attack barely scraping against your form before you slip away. And then Rebel 5 dashes over here. All right, Saxy, you're up.
I fly 15 feet forward, then take 2 sharpshooter shots at 12 and 11, 15 and 18 to hit, factoring in the -5 penalty.
Both hit.
All right, 9 plus 10 plus 5, so that's 24 damage to number 12. Then 18 damage to number 11.
The first slams into guard 12's armor, denting it inward, forcing him back a step but leaving him still standing, gritting his teeth through the pain. The second shot tears through guard 11's side. He stumbles, barely keeping his footing, looking one hit away from dropping. 11 is looking rough, 12 is still in the fight.
Then I move 15 feet this way, pull out my trusty pistol, and take a shot at 16 for my bonus action. Sharpshooter. I'll be loading a bullet of teleportation into this Joe. 22 to hit.
Hits.
That's 3 plus 10 damage, and I teleport next to him.
You level the pistol, slotting in the special round, the sigils along the bullet's casing glowing faintly as you take aim. The shot fires, the moment it makes contact, your body shimmers, and in an instant, you're gone. Before the guard even registers the hit, you blink into existence right beside him, the residual energy of the teleportation sparking off your armor as you stand face to face. Rebel 1 dashes over here. All right, Raarh, you're up.
I run at 12 and smash him. Reckless, great weapon master. 15 to hit.
Hits.
That's 25 slashing, 11 radiant for 36 total.
You barrel forward, boots slamming against the ice as you bring Nepthat-Ka down in a devastating arc. The moment the blade connects, the impact splits through armor, flesh, and bone, cleaving straight through his chest. The holy energy erupts outward. For half a second, he stands there motionless. Then his form collapses, crumbling like a felled tree.
Neat. All right, same for 11, but no great weapon master this time because he's looking fucked already. That's 25 to hit. 16 slashing and 6 radiant for 22 total.
The impact sends him hurtling backward, his body twisting midair. And the moment he touches the ground, Alden's booming blade detonates. The echoing thunderclap rattles through the cavern as his remains scatter across the icy terrain.
Then I move 25 feet up this way.
So Rebel 3 dashes over here, moving next to the entryway but not blocking the funnel. All right, Celestia, you're up.
I blink back in, 10 feet forward, then dash 80 feet using my action. Hey there, Tronald.
Oh, hey, Celestia, what the fuck are you?
I'm bony. Rolled a 5, so I don't blink.
All right, guard 16 is up. He's going to try and move away from you, Saxy.
Attack of opportunity. Fuck, natural 1.
Yeah, so you whiff completely. Blade swings wide and he slips right past you, managing to get over here. Then, a familiar whirring noise builds again. The barrels of his rotary gun begin to spin, faster and faster, the mechanical grinding echoing through the cavern as the chamber loads fresh rounds. Oh wow, only 1 bullet connects.
Neat.
This is scuffed.
Huh.
The first few shots spray wildly, ricocheting off frozen stone and shattering chunks of ice into the air. But 1 round finds its mark, the green-lit bullet punching into your armor, sending a sharp jolt of pain through your ribs. That's 11 points of damage to you, Saxy. All right, top of the round. Kobe, you're up.
And I'll pat Rebel 4 on the cheeks and say, you just stay here, sweetie. Then I dash 60 feet up.
I don't think he has much of a choice, Kobe. Anyway, Alden, your turn.
I use my 80 feet of movement to get behind Saxy, then make a firebolt attack on 16. That's 27 to hit. For 16 damage. Hasted attack. Ew. Natural 1.
Kragus dashes up here, but realizes he can't get through without blocking the way, so he holds position. Morgan dashes 80 feet, pushing forward. All right, Tronald, you're up.
I move up here, Joe. Then I cast Vortex Warp on Celestia, moving her 90 feet up, right about here.
A pulse of arcane distortion ripples around Celestia as the spell takes hold, reality warping and twisting around her. In an instant, she is yanked forward, space itself bending to Tronald's will before snapping her back into existence 90 feet ahead.
Damn, thanks for that, Tronald.
Guess it's a good thing you failed that blink, huh?
True.
Kobe, you hear a muffled scream from behind you. Wet, gurgling, the kind of sound that only means one thing. You whip around, and that's when you see it. The glint of steel, slick with fresh blood. The rebel you just saved, the one whose pulse you brought back, is jerking violently as a blade is ripped from his throat. The life you had just given is stolen away in an instant. Standing over him is a new figure, clad in the same ice-hold armor, but this one isn't holding a sword. He's already sheathing it. Because he knows the job is done, his eyes flick straight to you. A smirk. He doesn't run. He strolls forward, and he's not alone. Reinforcements have arrived. 4 guards, cutting off your retreat. You're bottlenecked. No way back. No easy way forward. You're being flanked. And before you can even shout a warning, they fire.
Oh no.
Reinforcement 2 fires a crossbow shot at you. 18 to hit, which hits. A bolt hisses through the air, the whistling sound barely registering before it punches into your side, burying deep between your ribs for 13 damage.
Oh, fuck!
Reinforcement 3 fires, 20 to hit. The second bolt follows, striking lower, just above your hip, driving another wave of burning pain through your gut. That's 12 damage.
Oh, hell no.
Reinforcement number 4 fires, and with a 13 to hit, that misses.
Thank the green god.
All right, Mite, you're up.
I move 40 feet over here, engulfing Alden in shadow too, so they can't attack him easily.
What, because he needs the extra AC buff?
Listen, you're not wrong, but disadvantage on an AC of 25 never hurt anybody.
Then I cast Eldritch Blast on number 16. That's a 23 and 22 to hit.
Both hit.
That's 16 damage.
From within the writhing darkness, your symbiote surges, tendrils crackling with energy as you unleash 2 spiraling beams of pure eldritch force. The first blast smashes into Guard 16's chest, his body jerking back as his armor buckles inward from the impact. The second follows immediately, striking dead center. He's still standing, but he felt that. Rebel 2 moves back into the room and fires an arrow at Reinforcement 1, 20 to hit, and 9 damage. Rebel 5 moves down here and fires an arrow at Reinforcement 3, nat 20, a perfect shot. The arrow pierces straight through the weak spot in the guard's armor, punching deep into his chest with a sickening crunch. Blood spurts out, his body jerking violently. That's 13 damage. All right, Saxy, you're up.
I want to overcharge my hand repulsion and fire at 16, the one with the Gatling gun.
Roll it.
That's a 17.
Yep, you manage. Your gauntlet hums violently, the coils inside overloading as the energy builds beyond its normal capacity. Sparks spit from your palm, the repulsor glowing blinding white as the charge reaches critical mass.
16 to hit.
Hits.
Awesome. So that's 17 points of damage.
The moment the blast fires, it doesn't just hit, it tears straight through him. The sheer force of the overcharge rips a hole clean through his torso, the exit wound blasting out the other side in a charred, gaping crater of flesh and armor. His body locks up, the Gatling gun still spinning uselessly, the barrels whirring as he slowly collapses, his weapon tumbling from his lifeless hands. The impact against the ground echoes, the sound of the gun's final rotations fading into eerie silence.
Good riddance. I move another 20 feet up. Do I see anyone else?
Yes, you do, and he's wielding another strange device.
Oh, for God's sake. I make 2 shots at that guy then. Sharpshooter using burning bullets from my enchanted pouch. 13 and 20 to hit.
Both hit.
So that's 25 damage for the first, 26 for the second.
Saxy, with those 2 shots, you devastated him. But this guy, he's built different. Lower AC, but he's got a lot more health points.
Oh.
Rebel 1 moves here and fires a shot at Reinforcement 1. That's a 12, so he misses. Now it's Guard 17's turn, the one you just spotted, Saxy. He moves down the path, weapon lowered at his waist, his stance wide and braced for recoil. The weapon in his hands is different. It's not a rifle, not a crossbow, but something shorter, heavier, with multiple barrels lined in a row, glowing green along the chambers. The air around the weapon crackles with arcane energy, the inside of the barrels churning with luminescence. Whatever this thing is, it's not precision-based. It's built for sheer devastation. He raises it, and at point blank, he fires. That's a 22 to hit.
Hits.
A deafening boom fills the cavern as a cluster of glowing green fragments erupt from the weapon, the blast scattering wide but concentrated enough that it smashes directly into you. The impact slams through your armor, kinetic force hammering into your ribs. Arcane energy surges through the wounds, the green glow flickering in the impact points before dissipating. That's 24 damage.
I'm rough, guys. Really, really rough.
Have you tried not being?
Oh, wow. Yeah, let me just flip the invulnerability switch real quick. Thanks, Raarh. You're a fountain of fucking inspiration over there.
You know, the more and more we keep fighting, the more residuum is starting to feel like warpstone. And these Icehold guards are giving me some serious Skaven vibes. Anyone else getting that?
I mean, now that you say it, yeah. We got glowing green shit, underground facilities, and these guys are popping out of holes like goddamn vermin.
And that sniper fire, pure Skaven energy, no honor, just kill them from the shadows and scurry away tactics.
If that is Joe's inspiration, I really, really don't like where this could be going.
Well, he already dropped a hint about magical goddamn nukes a few episodes ago, so I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't give a shit about any of that. What I do know is that these guards need to die. Right fucking now.
All right, Raarh, you're up.
A little help if you could, big guy.
Quick, Raarh! Saxy calls for aid.
Then the green god shall answer. Joe, I use my hasted movement and action to dash 105 feet around the corner. The second I spot who attacked Saxy, I move behind him and unleash hell. 2 reckless great weapon master attacks. First attack, nat 20. Second attack, 26 to hit.
Yeah, roll damage.
Nat 20 was 61 total damage. Second attack was 32 total damage, so 93 damage total.
You tear around the corner, boots slamming into the ice as you lock onto your target, the bastard that nearly dropped Saxy. He barely has time to react before Nepthet Ka comes crashing down. The first swing isn't just an attack, it's a fucking execution. The blade rips through his back, severing the spine, bursting out the other side in a spray of red and glowing green residue. His weapon clatters to the ground, his legs collapse beneath him, but you're not done. The second blow comes down like a guillotine, cleaving him clean in half, the 2 halves of his body hitting the ground separately, entrails steaming against the frozen floor. His armor cracks apart, and the light fades from his eyes before he even understands what just happened.
Do you have any healing, Raarh?
Dunno, I could spit on you, see if that works.
Don't think that'll do the trick. Thanks, but no thanks.
Well, fine. Ungrateful fucker. Joe, I use the rest of my movement to move past this wall and see what I can see.
Raarh, you get 35 feet out of your remaining 55. You have 20 left, and then you see it. The moment you step forward, everything else fades. The battle, the shouting, the chaos, it all becomes background noise. Because in front of you is hell. The first thing you notice, prisoners. Dozens of them, maybe more. Shackled, separated into groups, some barely standing, others too weak to move. You can feel their hollow stares, their bodies withered, broken, their chains rattling as they shift uneasily. But your focus shifts past them to the thing that matters most. You see your father. He stands behind a towering figure, the man Tronald saw in his scrying. Thick black armor, its surface pulsing with veins of sickly green energy, the glow almost alive, slithering through the plating as if flowing through his very blood. And then, the next thing you see, 14 crossbow bolts flying straight at you.
Well, fuck.
So out of the 14 shots, only 2 miss. The moment you register the barrage, it's too late. The first wave of bolts slams into you, each impact ripping through your flesh, the sheer force of the volley staggering you. Bolts bury into your shoulders, thighs, side, the pain stacking with every hit, but your rage keeps you standing. Blood drips from your wounds, steaming against the ice as you grit your teeth through the pain. That's 92 points of piercing damage, halved to 46.
I don't feel too good.
Then the main guy in black armor also fires at you. What he fires is closer to a hand ballista than a crossbow. So, with a 19 to hit, a low thunk sounds as a massive, reinforced bolt fires straight at you, the force behind it enough to punch through plate armor like butter. You barely get time to brace before it slams into your gut, the impact forcing you back a step, the bolt making its way fully through and slamming into the icy wall behind you. That's 36 damage, halved to 18.
Joe, I retreat back behind the slab of stone with my 20 feet of movement I have left.
What the fuck happened to you?
They have my dad. I see him. Too many enemies, though. Far too many.
Oh, well, that's worrying.
Joe, I shout out, give me my fucking dad back!
Your voice thunders through the cavern, bouncing off the frozen walls, filling the space with a demand that carries the weight of blood and fury. You get no response.
I move up to Raarh. What the hell happened?
Bolts. Just a few bolts.
You look like a goddamn pincushion.
That's a solid 12 bolts still sticking out of you. That's not a few, Raarh.
Good. Then they know what's coming.
All right, I love the whole unstoppable war machine vibe you're going for, but maybe let's not die immediately while doing it.
Well, I can't heal in this form. We've got to wait for the guys. There's no way we can rush this. We wait for the others. So I don't do anything with my action, Joe. I just wait here, behind cover.
Yeah, just hold on. We're gonna wrap up these reinforcements, then make our way to you. Just sit tight.
Now it's the man in black armor's turn, and all the other guards. The armored figure steps forward, his presence casting a shadow over the prisoners as his glowing green veins pulse like living things beneath his armor. He doesn't rush. He doesn't need to. His movement's calculated, as if he already knows exactly how this fight will end. Then, in a voice like grinding stone, he speaks.
Begin killing them all.
Then he turns and pushes your father, Raarh.
I'll take this one back to Icehold, and we'll kill him. But not quickly. Not cleanly. No, we'll unmake him, piece by piece, until he begs for the end. And then, only then, will I deny him that mercy.
And that's when they start. The 12 guards surrounding the prisoners turn in unison. No hesitation, no pause, just efficient, brutal execution. The slaughter begins. Blades thrust deep, steel sliding into flesh, the sudden cries of prisoners turning into gurgled, choking gasps. They don't try to run. They can't. A woman screams, her hands raised, a plea that is answered only by a sword through her gut, the blade twisting before she is kicked off the steel like nothing more than refuse. Another prisoner is dragged to his knees, the guard behind him pressing a dagger to his throat, holding just long enough for him to feel it before ripping across. 12 bodies hit the ground in less than 2 seconds. The 2 other guards begin dragging your father, his eyes rolled back, barely conscious, body limp, as if his mind is already half gone. The armored figure follows, his pace measured, his gaze still locked onto you, even as he begins to disappear behind the ice. And then, just before he vanishes completely, he tilts his head, just slightly. A silent message. A challenge. Come and get him. Then they vanish behind a chunk of icy rock.
No!
Why aren't they rushing us? Why is he taunting you, Raarh? And why the hell are they focusing on the prisoners?
Yeah, this isn't just battle tactics. This is something else.
They're stalling. He's not just fighting, he's playing with us.
No, he's already won something.
Kobe, it's at this point you see 4 more reinforcements emerge, crossbows at the ready.
Oh, fuck. Change of plan, guys. We won't be able to help anytime soon. The bastards are... Wait, what's the word for when you're trapped between 2 armies? Bottlenecked?
No. Bottlenecked is when you're funneling through a tight space. This is more like a...
Like a fucking ambush.
This is bad. Really bad.
Hold on, are these just reinforcements, or was this whole thing planned?
Planned how, though? How and why would they even know we were coming?
I don't know, but the fact they singled out Raarh's dad, had him already in position, and then made a whole bloody show out of it, that screams to me that they did.
So this is about Raarh. Why?
How the fuck would I know?
And with that, the 4 new guards take their positions, crossbows raised. And that's where we're going to wrap up this session, guys. Get yourselves ready and have a think, because it's going to be a very interesting session next week.